So, good day everyone. I'm John Rex Balino and today I will be presenting an overview of the culture and management systems of mud crab, the Sila Sirata, in the context of Philippine aquaculture. So, as one of the country's most valuable crustacean commodities, mud crab farming has emerged as a vital livelihood with increasing local and export demand. So, let's begin with a brief background of this species. So, Sila Sirata, commonly known as mud crab or mangrove crab, is high valued in aquaculture due to its delicious taste, firm texture, and high nutritional content. And it's one of the top commercial crustacean in the Indo-Pacific, including the Philippines. So, they are usually found in estuaries and mangrove areas and can be easily identified by their green to dark brown carapace with polygonal markings and orange claws. So, ito pong species ng crab na ito are both part ng mga small scale and commercial production systems dito sa Pilipinas. And in terms of biology, the mud crab has a fascinating life cycle. So, yung mating po usually occurs dun sa estuarine areas and once the female becomes gravid, it migrates to the sea para po mag-spawn. Then the larvae drift back to estuarine and mangrove areas where they can mature into adults. So, because of this unique life cycle, kaya po siya tinatawag na mangrove crabs. And yung mga mangrove crabs po are usually opportunistic feeders and primarily consume mollusks, smaller crabs, and other slow moving organisms. Then, for its economic value, so in the Philippines, mud crab are considered a premium seafood commodity dahil nga po dun sa meat quality niya and strong market demand both locally and internationally, making them a vital source of income para sa ating mga aquaculture sector. So, they rank among the top aquaculture products in terms of production volume that supports livelihood across regions based doon sa Philippine Fisheries Profile as of 2023. So, ito pong table na to, it shows how kung gaano kadami yung na-contribute ng mud crabs sa ating top commodities na kinukulture sa Pilipinas. So, the culture of mud crab also is composed of several stages that includes the hatchery, the nursery, grow out, and yung mga specialized systems. So, each stage has a unique infrastructure requirements and operational strategies that we will discuss to the next slide. So, first one is yung hatchery production. It's not relatively new sa Pilipinas yung hatchery production ng mud crab, but according doon sa study and ginawa na project ng PICAARD, yung DOST PICAARD, nagkaroon po siya ng project na tinatawag na Refinement of Mud Crab Hatchery Technology. So, nag-establish po siya ng 13 hatcheries na kasali po yung mga private sectors, yung LGUs and SUCs. So, one prime example nito na nag-success in terms of hatchery production is yung Kinisan Hatchery, which is located in Northern Samar. So, siya po yung pinaka-high-tech and advanced in terms of hatchery operation of mud crab and broodstock management. So, yung hatchery po, gumagamit po siya ng mga circular or rectangular tanks with rounded corners for better water quality, better water circulation, So, these tanks may be built from concrete, fiberglass, or wood with rubberized canvas lining para nga po dun sa efficient water circulation. Then, the next one is yung nursery of mud crabs. So, the nursery stage serves as a bridge between the hatchery and the grow-out phases. And usually, meron po siyang two phases sa nursery system. Yung first one is yung pag-produce ng crablets measuring around 1 to 1.5 centimeters in the carapace with it's like a 25 centavo coin. And the second one is yung producing crablets that reach around 2.5 to 3 centimeter or yung matchbox size. So, common system na ginagamit dito is yung HAPA-based design na nilalagay sa pants. So, however, managing this type of design is very strict since hindi po na-avoid yung cannibalism dito. Kaya po strict yung stocking and feeding protocols sa ganitong design or yung sa nursery ng mud crab. So, for grow-out culture naman po, mud crabs are commonly raised in earthen brackish water ponds ranging from 1 to 10 hectares. So usually, polyculture po siya and practiced by co-culturing crabs with species like millfish and tiger prawn. So, ang stocking density niya po nag-range from 500 to 1,000 crabs per hectare and yields can reach up to 350 kg per hectare na mayroon pong 2 croppings per year. So, another grow out culture system naman po natin is yung mga monoculture systems and yung densities niya po are limited para po ma-reduce nga po yung cannibalism. So, ang stocking niya lang po is around or less than to 1,000 crabs per hectare po. So, yung mga fattening systems naman po, ginagawa din po siya sa pond. And fattening systems are used to improve the marketability of yung mga lean crabs or yung mga payat na crabs natin. So, these are conducted in a small enclosure sa ponds nga. Pwede din po sa mga pens. And yung mga polyethylene cages natin. And typically, naglalast lang po siya from 15 to 30 days. And crabs are stocked individually, often a 1 crab per square meter. Then, the next one is an emerging method po, yung vertical crab farming. So, this system is gaining traction sa parts po ng Southeast Asia and is being explored dito sa atin sa Pilipinas as a potential solution for sustainable high-density crab production. So, yung system pong ito ay gumagamit ng mga stock compartments that is ideal for areas with limited space. So, yung each crab po, nilalagay po siya sa separate cell to avoid cannibalism. And best suited po yung ganitong design for fattening or soft shell crab production and is becoming increasingly viable nga po para doon sa urban setting. So, usually this system po, gumagamit nga po siya ng mga stock plastic or PVC containers that are often using yung mga flow-through or yung recirculating water system natin or yung RAS. So, another culture system po natin is yung integrated system or yung aqua silviculture. So, this is an eco-friendly culture method that combines aquaculture with mangrove rehabilitation. So, usually yung crab po, nire-raise siya sa pens or enclosure within mangrove areas. So, this system not only provides income but also helps po dun sa mangrove reforestation and promoting both ecological and economic sustainability. So, now that we are done discussing the culture system and design, let's proceed naman po dun sa seed supply, sa stocking, sa feeding and nutrition. So, unang-una po yung seed supply. Sa Pilipinas po, Philippines po are still heavily dependent on wild sources. Although meron naman nga po tayong mga hatchery-produced crablets and slowly gaining ground. But due to strong demand, particularly from export markets, many growers continue to rely on wild-caught juveniles. So, yung mga top producing region po natin includes po yung Northern Mindanao, Central Luzon, and yung Bicol region. So, for stocking po, nagkakadepende po siya dun sa culture system. So, pero according po sa study na kinandak ng CIFDEC, to balance productivity and profitability, nagsuggest po sila na most economic optimum stocking density is around 5,000 crabs per hectare. So, sa feeding and nutrition naman po, proper nutrition and feeding management are crucial para po sa high survival rates ng culture ng mud crabs. So, farmers have developed feeding schedules. Typically, ginagawa po siya sa gabi. And yung ginagawa po nila is 5 to 10% of their average body weight. And ginagawa po siya daily. And usually, trash, fish, and mollusk are common feeds na ginagamit. Pero po yung mga hindi nakakain na food must be removed para ma-prevent po yung water quality issues. And usually naman po, trash fish pa din po yung ginagamit na pagkain sa mud crab culture kasi mas nag-demonstrate po siya ng superior growth rates as compared dun sa commercial pellets or yung commercial feed. Then for growth monitoring, sa health, sa water quality management, and harvesting techniques naman po tayo. So, sa monitoring po ng growth and health, very essential siya. Kaya ang ginagawa po ng mga farmers is nagkakandak siya ng daily observation para ma-implement po yung biosecurity and mga quarantine measures para nga po ma-prevent yung disease outbreaks. So, ang ginagawa po ng mga farmers natin is yung early detection of health issues through daily observation has proven effective and para po nga ma-prevent yung mga large-scale outbreaks. So, sa harvesting techniques naman po, sa water quality, sorry. Sa water quality naman po, ang minomonitor naman po dito is yung salinity, temperature, and minamanage po siya para yung maiwasan nga po yung mga sakit. So, nagkakaroon po ng routine water exchange every 2 to 3 days per grow out. Required po siya kasi mas mabilis po ma-deteriorate yung tubig sa grow out culture kasi ang ginagamit nga po natin is yung mga wet feed. And yung kailangan po ng water quality and management kasi nga po yung environmental stability ng mud crab culture nag-i-impact po siya sa growth and survival ng ating cultured species. Sa mga modern farming systems nga po, nag-i-incorporate po sila ng mga sophisticated temperature control mechanisms like maintaining yung optimal conditions throughout the growing cycle. So, sa mga harvesting techniques po, madami po tayong method na ginagamit. Meron po tayong 4, sorry man. And nakadepende naman po siya sa sistema na ginagamit during the culture. So, ang unang-una po dyan is yung selective harvesting. So, it involves removing only the marketable size crabs. And the next one, yung total harvesting naman po, ginagawa po siya to the end of the culture cycle. For example, after 6 months, saka lang po siya mag-harvest. Sa mga fattening systems naman po, ang harvesting naman po dyan is frequent and highly controlled. So, for example, nagain na po nung isang pirasong crab yung target weight, then i-harvest na po siya kahit yung mga kasama niya ay hindi pa po. And sa post-harvest standing, importante po siya para ma-preserve yung quality, especially during transport. So, meron po mga best practices na ginagawa yung ating mga farmers. Like, for example, gumagamit po sila ng traps or yung tinatawag nating bintol para before draining para ma-check kung malalaki na nga po ba yung mga crabs natin. And yung crabs po, before i-transport is tinatali po yung mga sipit or yung mga claws para po ma-reduce yung cannibalism and yung injury dun sa kapwa crabs habang tinatransport siya. So, ano-ano po nga po ba yung mga economic consideration, challenges, and future direction ng culture ng mud crab? So, first, yung sa economic consideration, yung economic sustainability ng mud crab farming, nakadepende po siya sa operational efficiency. Since yung mga successful farms, nare-record nila yung kanilang performance indicators like yung growth rates, yung mortality, and feed conversion ratios. So, sa pamamaraan pong ganito na nagkakaroon sila ng data-driven approach para po dun sa continuous optimization of farming practices and magkaroon po ng better resource allocation. Then sa mga challenges naman po, despite its potential, mud crab aquaculture faces several challenges. Unang-una na nga po dyan yung said supply shortages due to high reliance sa wild stocks. Of course, hindi pa din po maiiwasan yung cannibalism, particularly sa nursery and grow out phases. And of course, yung water quality fluctuations. So, mas nai-influensya na po siya ngayon ng climate change like that. And yung sa disease and biosecurity gaps, especially sa mga hatcheries. And of course, yung market volatility that affects the pricing and yung profitability. Then, sa future directions ng mud crab culture, para ma-address nga po yung mga challenges. So the industry should explore the following direction. So unang-una po dyan yung expansion of hatchery technologies para nga po ma-reduce yung wild dependence natin sa ng seed supply. And of course, yung genetic improvement programs para po ma-promote yung better growth and disease resistance. And yung promotion of sustainable systems like aquasilviculture, yung mga ganun po. And of course, yung development po ng formulated feed para ma-reduce po yung feed cost. And of course, ma-improve po yung market access and traceability for both local and export markets. So, in summary po, the culture and management of Sila Sirata in the Philippines is a promising venture with the right technologies, sustainable practices, and policy support. It has the potential to significantly uplift coastal communities in aquaculture while ensuring environmental protection. So, that's end my presentation po. Thank you everyone for your attention.